to abandon my opportunity to attend Capital University for a girl named Anna, only to eventually hear her giggling with a friend. That fool Michael, I have him completely fooled. He actually thinks I like spending time with him. To abandon my opportunity to attend Capital University for a girl named Anna, only to eventually hear her giggling with a friend. I reacted calmly. I simply released all naive dreams of romance, especially for someone without family. I dedicated myself to work, earning a place at Sunstone University, and became part of its leading research team. I heard rumors of her canceled wedding plans. She declared, during her engagement celebration, that I was her most memorable love from the past. Without a trace of shame, she abandoned everything, chasing after me. I would pamper her endlessly. But I had already met Olivia, the kindest, most gorgeous girlfriend I could ever imagine. Michael, I'm struggling with this equation. Could you help me understand it? The young woman before me possessed refined looks and pale skin, her eyes forming a gentle, welcoming curve that was captivating. I was momentarily entranced by her beauty. The young woman before me possessed refined looks and pale skin, her eyes forming a gentle, welcoming curve that was captivating. Michael? Oh, yes, absolutely. I swiftly collected my thoughts, grabbed a pen, and began explaining the solution on paper. See, converting this to a logarithmic expression simplifies the calculation. Anna's eyes sparkled. Michael, you're brilliant. If I were as intelligent as you, I'd surely be accepted into Capital University as well. Our first meeting was in the university library. The sun streamed through the large windows, illuminating my workspace, which was covered in books. The air held a serene quality, filled with the scent of old books, so peaceful that the only sound was the soft turn of pages. I was lost in my studies, oblivious to my surroundings, until a dropped book nearby interrupted my focus. I glanced up to see her, slightly flustered, near the opposite bookshelf. Sorry, I didn't realize anyone was here. Anna's tone was gentle with a hint of regret. I dismissed it, indicating it was no bother. It's a spacious library. A bit of noise is expected. You're Michael, aren't you? I recognize you, she said, initiating a conversation. I tried to remember her, but couldn't place such a memorable face. I don't believe we've met. She chuckled softly. Top scorer Michael, I'm Anna. Don't you ever notice who's consistently in second place? Her comment jogged a faint recollection. I remembered that the name directly below mine on every exam result was always Anna. Following that initial library encounter, I began to see Anna more frequently. Michael, I cracked the final problem on the math exam, Anna shared with excitement. That's wonderful. Now I feel the pressure to maintain my performance, I responded cheerfully. She giggled, her eyes crinkling at the corners. These moments were no longer unusual for us. Since she transferred to our class and requested the seat next to mine, our connection had deepened, and my affection for her had grown beyond friendship. As an orphan, I'd never felt love from anyone. Anna's radiant smile caused me to slowly fall in love, though I was clueless about reciprocating, so I strived to fulfill all her wishes. Michael, your lunch looks delicious. Could you get me the same next time? Michael, I'm stuck on this problem. Can you assist me? Michael, may I copy your notes from the previous lecture? Note-taking is such a drag. Each time she gazed at me with those bright eyes and smiled, I agreed instantly. I must have been out of my mind. The orphanage provided limited funds, so to buy things for Anna, I had to work. Fortunately, my 2-year academic record allowed me to secure a part-time tutoring position, working every evening after classes. I often didn't get back to the orphanage dormitory until almost midnight. My roommate Frank shook his head when he learned about it. You're completely smitten. If that was the case, then so be it. I relished every second. After morning exercises, I hurried to purchase Anna's breakfast. Returning, I noticed David, the school's well-known troublemaker, exiting our classroom. Top student getting food for Anna again, huh? He grinned, a subtle hint of slyness in his eyes. A peculiar unease welled up inside me, but I disregarded it and entered the room. Michael, you remembered to buy me the special rolls from that bakery. You're amazing. Anna exclaimed, her voice as vibrant as a clear morning. I remained silent, simply observing her. Sensing my mood, she smiled and inquired, "What's bothering you? Did you stay up too late studying?" I avoided her question. After a brief pause, I quietly asked, "Was David here looking for you?" Her smile faltered, a flicker of awkwardness crossing her features. Um, we were classmates previously. He came to invite me to his birthday celebration this weekend, but I declined. He invited everyone, so it would have been impolite to exclude me, but you know, I'll be studying with you at the library this weekend," she added with a playful tone, her eyes subtly avoiding mine. I exhaled deeply, feeling relieved. I understand. Seeing my reaction, Anna's smile returned, even more radiant. Naturally, attending Capital University is my main goal now, correct? She playfully nudged my shoulder, a sudden display of intimacy. We had already agreed to go to Capital University together. We had already agreed to go to Capital University together. We were going to share an amazing life. On that note, regarding Capital University, are you truly abandoning this contest? The instructor's gaze was firm. I shrugged, pretending indifference. Didn't you always encourage us to make our own decisions? I'm merely opting out of participating. Do you realize this contest could secure your guaranteed entry? It's our school's single allocation, the instructor pressed, clearly concerned for my well-being. Sir, my academic performance is sufficient for Capital University. My participation in this contest is irrelevant, I explained calmly, though I sensed a hint of evasion in my own tone. The instructor sighed, removing his glasses to clean them. With your academic record, entering Capital University is almost certain. However, this contest is highly prestigious. Foregoing it would be a significant missed opportunity. I shook my head, trying to conceal any emotion. Sir, I'm not concerned about that. Finally, he sighed, understanding that persuasion was futile. Then please send Anna in. If you're withdrawing, she'll have to take your place. Anna desperately desired to attend Capital University. This opportunity would delight her. I navigated the bustling hallway, gently tapping Anna's shoulder. Anna, the instructor wishes to see you. Anna looked up, puzzled. Really? What about? It's likely regarding the contest. A nearby classmate teased with a whistle, Anna, is it time for a new top student? Anna laughed, her genuine smile as radiant as sunlight on a bright day. Hurry along, don't keep the instructor waiting, I said, attempting to sound composed, though my heart felt strangely agitated. Anna walked lightly toward the homeroom instructor. My spirits fell, feeling a mix of happiness for her and an inexplicable bitterness. Only when I saw her returning, beaming with the registration form, did I quietly reassure myself, this is for the best. Anna approached me, her eyes gleaming, yet tinged with apprehension, making me hold my breath. This contest spot was specifically arranged for me, wasn't it? Anna's voice echoed across the autumn field, clear above the sounds of bouncing basketballs. I swallowed nervously, a lump in my throat, unable to speak. She seemed to detect my unease, but grew more animated, as if she had won a significant prize. You deliberately withdrew, didn't you? I barely nodded, not quite admitting it, yet not denying it, a whirlwind of emotions stirring within. Thank you. She approached, giving me a brief hug, whispering in my ear. I stood there, bewildered, unsure how to react, feeling her hair softly brush my cheek like a gentle feather. She quickly pulled away, as if this closeness was never meant to last, leaving me with a lingering sense of emptiness and bewilderment. Her laughter echoed, playful as always. Since you've done me such a huge favor, you're now officially my little helper. If my assignments go missing, it'll be your responsibility to retrieve them. How could I ever decline her? Especially with that smile, capable of softening even my typically stern demeanor. Naturally, I readily agreed, as if this was a mission I was destined to undertake. That weekend, I arrived punctually at the cafe where we had agreed to meet, my pocket containing the meticulously organized math notes I had compiled all night. I navigated through the lively crowd, striving to maintain composure and appear natural. Then, from within the cafe, I overheard her laughter. Look at this fool, relinquishing the contest spot for me. In less than a month, he'll undoubtedly confess his feelings. He even brings Anna breakfast. Oh man, I really thought the top scholar would hold out longer. Please, everyone's at Anna's feet. It was her, accompanied by her friends. Among them were David and some unfamiliar faces. Anna's expression seemed alien. I froze, each word piercing me like a needle. My heart sank as I silently observed her carefree laughter. All my endeavors, everything I had done, was merely a game to her and her companions. All right, you guys go ahead. He's about to arrive, and I want to prolong this a bit longer. As Anna concluded her sentence, her gaze inadvertently met mine. I stared at her coldly. A flicker of surprise crossed her face. Despite her deception, I detected a hint of panic in her eyes. What? Hadn't she foreseen this when she initially approached me? Was her guilt intended to deceive anyone? Her friends also noticed me, their laughter fading into silence, leaving the atmosphere heavy and quiet. Anna's lips moved, but no sound emerged. So, top scholar, now that you're aware of the truth, there's no reason to continue this pretense. Just end things with Anna cleanly, David interjected, unable to restrain himself. What concern is this of yours? You're questioning my involvement. David possessively embraced Anna. Did you genuinely believe you could have a relationship with Anna? He scoffed. Do you even know the chairman's surname? What gave you the idea that the school chairman's daughter would choose an orphan like you? At that, I looked at Anna. Nobody knew I was an orphan. Except, Anna averted her gaze, avoiding my eyes, which only intensified the pain of betrayal. The red-haired girl beside her sneered. Quit fantasizing. Anna and my brother are the actual couple. Their engagement was prearranged, and you should be aware of that before this progresses further. Recognizing her resemblance to David, a realization dawned on me. There was no point in remaining. I turned and departed from the place where my heart had been shattered. Unintentionally, I found myself back at the orphanage where Frank leapt from his bed upon seeing me. You're finally back. You've been so elusive lately. Nobody could locate you. Did you know that Anna is the chairman's daughter? Don't say I never helped you out. I even have a list of her favorite things here. Call me Dad, and it's all yours. Call me Dad, and it's all yours. Just then, Frank noticed something was amiss. What's wrong? Did discovering she's wealthy discourage you? Man, I thought it was something serious. Look, as long as she's okay with it, none of that matters. It's not like you two are getting married anyway. It's just dating. When she goes abroad, you'll probably break up, right? What did you say? Abroad? Frank looked at me in surprise. You didn't know? Her family has it all planned out. She's set to study overseas after high school. She's already passed her IELTS. I felt numb, with only a dull ache in my chest. So, the entire narrative about desiring to attend Capital University was merely a pretext to get close to me, while I foolishly relinquished the competition spot. Everything from the past seemed to mock my naivete. No wonder she was thriving in her previous class without any issues, yet insisted on transferring to my class and occupying the seat beside me. No wonder she appeared so joyful yet slightly uneasy after securing the competition spot. I had assumed she felt remorseful about taking it from me. And when I inquired why David had come to see her, she dismissed it with the excuse of his birthday. But now I recall his birthday was 3 months prior. With the presence of the school bully and a rich kid, it was quite the spectacle. Why didn't I realize it then? Well, maybe I did notice, but chose to ignore it because I trusted Anna. Now that my trust had shattered, the truth was finally revealing itself. Monday marked the return to school, and as usual, I was the first to arrive in class. But this time, the lights were already on. Hearing my footsteps, Anna immediately stood up. Let me explain. I approached her calmly. You haven't completed the competition form yet, have you? Hand it to me. Hurriedly, she rummaged through her bag and presented me with the form. I'm sorry, I didn't actually need to. You can leave. I had never addressed her so harshly. Her face paled, her lips trembled, and she managed to utter, Michael, you can leave, I repeated. Return to your former class, your former friends. She remained motionless, gazing at me with a pitiful expression. An inexplicable anger surged within me. Shouldn't you have foreseen the repercussions when you accepted that wager? I'm not clinging to you or seeking retribution. Isn't that sufficient? Or do you, Miss Jin, still wish to toy with me? Her face grew even paler. No, that was merely something I said. You know, in the heat of the moment. Enough. You were aware of the importance of this competition to me. Yet you, a spoiled rich girl, had no need for it. And still, you readily accepted it for the sake of the wager, didn't you? She appeared ready to defend herself again, but I refused to give her the opportunity. Looking into her eyes, I stated firmly, I will not trust you again. I turned and exited the classroom. The ensuing days passed as though Anna had never existed in my life. I reapproached the homeroom instructor, who had been incredibly supportive despite my constant indecisiveness, even approving my competition registration. Naturally, I would cherish this hard-won opportunity. This time, I would not sacrifice my future for anyone. Finally, I departed to compete. In an unfamiliar environment, I felt somewhat disoriented, and the anxiety intensified the day before the competition. Consequently, I decided to take a stroll in the park near the hotel. While riding the elevator, I unexpectedly encountered Olivia from the adjacent school. Then again, it wasn't entirely surprising. She and I typically occupied the top 2 positions in the city and frequently encountered each other at various competitions. Naturally, she would be present as well. What a coincidence. Hardly, Olivia smirked. I knew someone nearly missed this competition, so I came specifically to taunt him. I was astonished that the rumors had spread so widely. Observing my surprised expression, Olivia burst into laughter. Come on, lover boy, you look dazed. We located a conference room and conversed for a while. Having a familiar presence quickly dispelled my anxieties, and we began quizzing each other on previous exam questions. After some time, Olivia rubbed her eyes. It's getting late. Get some rest. Tomorrow is a significant day, and even though we're rivals in a sense, I still want you to perform at your best. In a daze, I returned to my room and soon drifted off to sleep, her words resonating in my dreams. The competition proceeded swiftly, and to my astonishment, I felt fantastic throughout, even successfully answering 2 questions we had reviewed the previous night. Those last-minute reviews truly proved beneficial. As I exited the examination hall, I experienced a rare sense of tranquility. First place, provincial training team. My homeroom instructor regarded me as a prodigy, reading the announcement from the province. I scratched my head, grinning. This virtually guarantees your admission to Capital University. Submit your application. No, this time I'm selecting Sunstone University. Capital University had been Anna's aspiration, but personally, I had always favored Sunstone University's computer science program. This time, I would follow my heart. With my admission secured, life became more leisurely. With the instructor's assistance, I secured several well-compensated tutoring positions, and the employers treated me favorably, knowing I was destined for Sunstone University. But somehow, Olivia was like an inescapable shadow. She came from a humble background, but her jovial nature exuded a vibrant vitality. Michael! Michael! I was in the orphanage office, assisting the director in organizing files, when I heard her voice before seeing her. Olivia's family resided nearby, and they frequently visited to assist with the younger children, so everyone was acquainted with her. The director glanced at her, amused. Here for Michael again, Olivia? Olivia laughed sheepishly, lowering her voice. Yes, director. Last time, Michael helped me with a few questions, and they appeared in the exam. My mom insisted I invite him over for dinner to express our gratitude. The director looked at me. Go on, Michael. No rush here. Don't keep her waiting. I placed the files down and exited with Olivia. My mom prepared sweet and sour pork specifically for you. You don't know how much effort that requires. She would never make it solely for me. I'm only benefiting because of you." Olivia skipped alongside me, chattering under the sunlight. Feeling slightly overwhelmed, I interjected, "Visiting your house empty-handed seems inappropriate. Allow me to acquire something for your mom." My dormitory was just ahead. I hurried to the entrance, but upon arrival, I discovered someone waiting outside. Perhaps sensing someone approaching, the individual abruptly lifted her head. It was Anna. "Michael, I heard you received early admission to Sunstone University." Just then, Olivia came running over, slightly out of breath. "Hey, why'd you run so fast? My mom isn't in that much of a hurry." Hearing this, Anna looked devastated. "You too." I hadn't expected Anna to find where I lived, but considering her father's connections, she could easily look up my student records to locate me. Although I didn't really want to deal with Anna, Olivia seemed amused. She tugged at my sleeve and said, "Michael, though we agreed you'd meet my parents today, if this sister needs to talk to you, we can reschedule. But don't keep her waiting too long." Goosebumps rose on my skin, but I understood what Olivia was implying. "Don't worry, I promised I'd go with you today and I won't change plans." Anna, furious, stomped her foot, her eyes reddening as she turned and ran off. I went inside, grabbed a gift box of snacks I'd bought a few days earlier, and followed Olivia to her home. Olivia, however, seemed unwilling to drop the subject. "So that was Anna? She's actually—" "Well," she hesitated and then admitted, "she's pretty good looking." Over these past few days, I'd started to understand Olivia's feelings. But reflecting on everything between Anna and me, I realized our outcome wasn't solely her fault. I hadn't known her well. We didn't come from similar backgrounds, and yet I wanted to pursue something with her. Growing up without parents, I had no experience of normal relationships. So when I met someone I liked, all I did was follow her blindly, without thinking of how to improve myself or make things better for both of us. With all my flaws, how could I even think of pursuing someone as bright as Olivia? So I steeled myself and told her, "Yes, that was the girl I used to like." Olivia pouted. "So what? I don't think I'm any worse than she is." Olivia's vibrant, cheerful nature brought energy to everyone around her. She was truly one of a kind and didn't need to be compared to anyone. "But, I'm an orphan. Your parents would never agree to us being together. With my lack of family connections or any assets, what parent would want their daughter dating someone like me?" But my words didn't seem to have any effect. Orphan or not, how do you know my parents wouldn't agree? They wouldn't. I've never known real love, and I'd be a terrible boyfriend. Olivia looked at me seriously and said, "Michael, don't say that. My parents have brought me to the orphanage since I was young, and I don't feel any different from you. Sure, you lack parental love, but love isn't one-dimensional. You have the director's care, and you have Frank and everyone else as friends. These are all forms of love, and with enough love, you'll learn to love others too. So how about you try loving me? That way, you'll also know how to love back." Her words filled me with courage, but I still didn't know how to face her parents. Would they really be okay with their daughter dating someone like me? "Let's wait a while. Your parents might not approve yet, so don't get too ahead of yourself." Olivia hummed in amusement. "Just watch at dinner. My parents adore you." At her house, I set the gift box on the coffee table and greeted her parents nervously. "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Chen." Mrs. Chen had just brought out the last dish. "You arrived just in time. Go wash up and sit down to eat." The atmosphere at the table was warm and cheerful, with Mr. and Mrs. Chen and Olivia each sharing funny stories from their day. They constantly added food to my bowl, piling it up so high I couldn't finish it all. Watching their family dynamic filled me with envy. If only this were my family. I shook myself from my thoughts, scolding myself for daydreaming in broad daylight. "Please don't give me any more food. I'm full." Olivia elbowed me playfully. "See, I told you my parents really like you." After dinner, I offered to help with the dishes, but Mr. Chen stopped me. "Leave them. Don't take my job." Mrs. Chen looked at Olivia and said, "Go help your dad." Olivia saluted her mother with a grin. "Yes, ma'am," and ran into the kitchen. Mrs. Chen peeled an orange for me. Startled by the gesture, I took a slice, but before I could eat it, she asked, "Are you and Olivia dating?" I was so shocked that I nearly choked, hastily waving my hands in denial. "No, no, I wouldn't dare have my eyes on Olivia." Mrs. Chen said, "Well, if you are, that's fine too. We watched you grow up and you're a good kid. We can tell. Olivia, too, has feelings for you. She hasn't been able to stop smiling these days, and when she talks to us, every other sentence is about you." A glimmer of hope flickered inside me. Could they really not mind? But then Mrs. Chen added, "However," my heart sank, and I couldn't help but ask, "However what?" She gave me an embarrassed smile. "I heard there was another girl you liked before. If you're not serious about Olivia, then just let it go." I immediately straightened up. "No, Mrs. Chen, I really do care about Olivia now." "Really?" I nodded quickly. "Really?" Mrs. Chen gave a knowing smile. "Olivia, stop eavesdropping." I realized that the sound of water in the kitchen had stopped at some point, and the glass door reflected two figures. Hearing this, Olivia awkwardly slid the door open, her face flushed. After making my relationship with Olivia official, I became part of a research team. During the provincial competition, a young professor from Sunstone University's cybersecurity lab invited me. I was fascinated by computer security, believing it a promising future field. The research team offered a salary, and any patents developed could lead to bonuses or be sold. Only by improving myself could I feel worthy of providing Olivia a better life. She was my guiding star, helping me get my life back on course. In September, Olivia also began university, and we were reunited on Sunstone University's grounds. She chose to study finance and sometimes visited me at the lab, where the senior members enjoyed teasing us. But one day, an unexpected guest arrived at the lab. Michael. I hadn't anticipated seeing Anna on campus, and my surprise was evident. Anna explained she hadn't followed her family's wishes to attend a prestigious overseas university, but had instead earned admission to Sunstone University independently. "I know it's awkward to keep encountering you like this, but—" She didn't complete her sentence, but her eyes conveyed everything. I sighed. Why subject herself to this? When I admired her, she treated me like a fool, and now she was pursuing me relentlessly. This belated affection was never destined for success. She wanted to say more, but her phone rang. She gave me an apologetic look before stepping aside to answer. Though I couldn't hear clearly, words like commitment and return drifted through the air. After her call, I told her decisively, "Don't seek me out anymore. You're getting engaged soon, aren't you? I wish you and David joy." With that, I turned and re-entered the office. A senior member saw me return and couldn't resist teasing, "Michael, who's that outside? A past romantic entanglement? Don't let it interfere with your relationship with Olivia?" I laughed it off, finding it ridiculous. I informed Olivia about it that same day, grateful for her complete trust. A few days later, a mysterious text message arrived. "Wait for me." Perplexed, I received a call from Frank. He was a year younger, now a senior, and not the most academically inclined. Who knew what he'd say? "Come on, call me Dad, and I'll reveal something shocking. Say it, or I'm hanging up." Seeing I wasn't participating, he relented. "Check the video I sent you." I checked my messages and found a video. The video displayed a lavish hotel lobby. The attendees were elegantly dressed, clearly present for an engagement celebration. As the camera moved, it focused on the main stage, where the names read Anna and David. So it was their engagement party. I was about to stop watching, uninterested in the remainder, when Frank urged, "Keep watching." Intrigued by his insistence, I continued. As the video progressed, the atmosphere became more strained and the crowd denser until the engagement ceremony commenced. David stood there, impeccably dressed, wearing a self-satisfied smile. Anna stood beside him in a red gown, her expression somber. When the host declared the engagement, Anna abruptly grabbed the microphone and stated, "No, I will not be getting engaged," and then fled the stage. I was astonished. "What?" Frank's voice came through the phone. "Do you know why she canceled the engagement? What reason? It couldn't be because of me, right?" "Well, it actually is because of you. I was working at the hotel tonight, and I overheard her telling her parents in the dressing room that she already had someone she loved, and he's here at Sunstone University. Clearly, she's talking about you." I felt slightly dazed. She had genuinely terminated her engagement because of me. Recalling that text message, a foreboding sensation arose within me. Sure enough, that afternoon, as soon as I exited the office, a figure rushed towards me. It was Anna, still clad in the red dress from her engagement party, appearing weary and unkempt. "Michael, I've called off the engagement. Can you forgive me? Can we start over?" I took a step back. "Anna, I thought you were a smart girl." Anna gave a bitter smile. "At first, I thought I could just go along with my family's plans, return to my world. But I can't forget you. I've already broken off the engagement with David." I sighed and shook my head. "Come on, we're adults. You know we can't go back." "Why?" Anna suddenly shouted, her voice cracking. I had never witnessed her like this before. "You gave up that competition spot for me, and I can give up everything for you. We're meant to be together." "Anna, maybe I didn't make it clear before, but the moment I found out you approached me because of a bet, it was over between us. When love begins with deception, it can never conclude favorably." Anna began to stifle tears. "Are you truly going to do this? I have nothing left, only you." I sighed. "I'm sorry." Thinking I'd softened, she quickly asked, "So you've forgiven me?" I shook my head. "I still can't accept you. Of course, if you ever need assistance, I'll do my utmost to be there, but that's all. This is the optimal outcome for us." Her eyes reddened. "It's because of that, Olivia, isn't it? I won't give up." I turned to depart, casting one final glance back at her. There was a hint of desperation in her eyes. Recently, my professor had secured a new research endeavor, and the entire lab had been preoccupied. I had significantly less time to spend with Olivia. Consequently, by the time I realized something was amiss, the project had already concluded. I invited Olivia to dine out, but she consistently declined. Her unusual behavior concerned me, so I discreetly contacted her roommate, who informed me that Olivia had been involved in a car accident and was hospitalized. Terrified, I rushed to the hospital. Olivia's mother was there, attending to her. When Olivia saw me, she appeared surprised. "Hey, it's really no big deal. I just didn't want to worry you while you were busy, so I didn't say anything." Regret overwhelmed my heart. "I'm working hard on these projects to provide you a better future. If you don't inform me when something occurs, what's the purpose of all my efforts?" At this moment, Olivia's mom interrupted, summoning me out of the room. "Michael, I didn't want to say anything in front of Olivia, but do you know who struck her?" I was taken aback. "Wasn't it merely an accident?" She gravely informed me. "It was that girl you used to like, Anna. She hit Olivia and then fled the scene. They haven't apprehended her yet." I recalled the crazed expression in Anna's eyes that day and understood. "Don't worry, ma'am. I'll handle this, and I won't allow Olivia to be harmed like this again." After departing the hospital, I dialed the number from that enigmatic text. "Why did you hit Olivia? Isn't it because of her that you won't be with me? Don't involve anyone else. When are you available? Let's talk." Silence ensued on the other end for approximately half a minute. "Tomorrow at 5 p.m. Come to this address." She transmitted the location to me. I arrived punctually, but before I could knock, I was pulled into the room. It was Anna. She appeared sleep-deprived, her eyes bloodshot. She offered me a glass of water. "So, if Olivia were out of the picture, would you return to me?" I took a sip of the water. It tasted peculiar, like something unfamiliar. Anna, don't exacerbate things. Making things worse? I made errors previously, yes, but I know precisely what I'm doing now. Anna gazed at me, slowly removing her jacket. I sensed something was amiss and attempted to open the door, but it was unyielding. An uncomfortable warmth began to permeate my body. Energy drink mixed with alcohol? You can't tolerate that, can you? I struggled to maintain composure. My body was reacting, but my mind remained lucid. Just a little longer, I thought. Just a little longer. Predictably, it wasn't long before the sound of sirens permeated the air. I had contacted the police prior to my arrival. There was no way I would allow someone who harmed Olivia to escape unpunished. As the police escorted Anna away, she looked back at me, her eyes brimming with despair. So we truly can't be together? I couldn't help but say, please stop being so delusional. Anna was ultimately convicted for the hit and run. I desired no further interaction with her and refrained from visiting her again. Instead, I went to a shopping center, purchased a ring, and spent all the money I possessed. In the hospital, in the presence of Olivia's mom and everyone else, I knelt by her bedside. Olivia, will you marry me? The girl I cherished the most gazed at me through tear-filled eyes. Yes, I will,